Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to next Wasteless World Talks, and today we are with Bill alone because Kevin cannot join us today. But it is his fault because today it's quite interesting topic. Bill, the topic today is waste. And of course, we have to do the same practice as every time. Close your eyes, and I will say waste. What do you see first?
Michael, I see a long progression, a journey um, that is difficult to describe for me because there are so many different parts. There's so much waste means so much, and it means something very different today than what it did 2 years ago, before we started talking. Before I started on the new book, Our Wasteless World, which will be out this time next year. Um, Waste 2 years ago meant what I throw in the trash can. Waste means something I'm finished with. And I honestly don't think it meant a whole lot more than that. Uh, so that's all the way down here on the spectrum. And maybe I'm up here now. What's going through my mind maybe is up here, but a year from now, it it's way over there because every time we have one of these discussions, my eyes are opened to a new perspective about waste. So let's get on with this topic. There's a lot to be said.
To be honest, I have, of course, the noon discussion. It was fascinating, fascinating. I invited Pat, but unfortunately, she cannot join. It's 11 in the evening today, right now in Australia, so I do understand. But I hope once she will join us. And it was, we have a visitor from India as well, participating fully for a long time in the US. So, and she started a school generally in 2019, aiming the waste prevention. So, and she joined, we did not know each other. She joined us on this discussion. It was so interesting, so interesting. And I think it was a new part of the, it is new part on the journey. But what I would like to say at the end of the discussion at the noon, I said that I believe that in few years, when I close my eyes and anybody in the world, and you say waste, they will see nothing. We will eliminate the term the, from the eye, so we will not see the full garbage bins and the people who are living in poverty and exactly what you described, and that will be great.
The first part of any of this for me is the awareness, um, and defining waste um, is is not easy. Uh, so you have defined certain parts of it, five different types of waste, um, and then discussions of each of those types and so on. But I'm reminded that waste, as with most things, has many meanings and even geographically different. That is, it's a society here. Well, we're not monolithic here. There's many societies here in America, but certainly around the world, they think differently. Historically, for example, during the Great Depression in the 1930s, and then the Second World War, which my parents told me about, there was almost no waste. They saved everything. Um, they had had their own gardens so that they would not have to buy more or travel to get goods. And they saved everything. And historically, then I mean, today we describe our society, well, for the last several decades as um, a throwaway society. In fact, I saw advertisements from the 60s where the advertisements in the magazines encouraged people to use it once and throw it away because that made less work. You didn't have to wash it and dry it and so on. Um, and so because of those advertisements, and I'm a marketing man, so I feel embarrassed that the marketing people uh, uh, push this that hard. So now we live in a use it once, throw it away, a single use world. Uh, and so what we're trying to do is to pull or push the mindset uh, back to reusing, back to the time when we did not have any single use anything, um, and because oh, that's enough. Um, you go now.
You know, on Friday, the United Nations Environmental Programme published, released new document. It's called, let me read the name for you. It's called the Global Waste Management Outlook 2024. They released it in Nigeria. They use twice the term Industry 5.0 in this document officially. And the entire document is written by ISWA, which is the International Solid Waste Association. This is the strongest lobbyist group for waste industry. In the entire document, there are many times used the term waste and prevention, but not a single time is said that waste can be prevented.
That made me laugh when you said the waste management, because what's happened, waste management industry wants more waste.
Exactly.
Waste is money. Waste is profit. Waste is more business, and we need to grow the business, which means we need to grow more waste. We need to encourage waste. But if you say to anybody on the street, are you in favor of waste management? 99 out of 100 times you're going to get somebody say, yes, I'm in favor of waste management. So that's another part of awareness is we need to start thinking about waste prevention and waste management. Let's eliminate that term. Waste management is the opposite of what we're trying to do.
Exactly. And what was interesting in this release, next to each other, the president of ISWA, the general manager of United Nations Environmental Programme, the author who wrote the major part, let's say, who worked for ISWA. So generally the giant, which is the United Nations, uncover the other face and the truth. Even on the official document on the first page, on the cover page, is ISWA logo there. So this just confirms what we say for a long time, that United Nations is not the organization which it should be. It's one of the giants who play the game of giants, and humans are just the playing cards which are not important. Humans are generally, in this way, humans are just a waste. And I am really happy that they mention Industry 5.0 because right now I have the proof which I can go to the lawyers and prove that they did, same as I did with the European Commission. And I did it already, so I am waiting right now for the reply.
Good, good. You called it the game of giants, which is a good. I like that term because when you get a lot of power and a lot of money, a couple things happen. You want more, 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 more. In fact, that's the society that we've been living in. More, more, more. Bigger car, bigger house, more money, all of that, instead of enough, which is the mindset that that I'm trying to get to. Enough. I have enough food. I have enough roof over my head. I have enough, and so on. Enough. Uh, but those are two different games. More, 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 and enough. And they are at war with each other.
You know, just few days before this talk, I have seen a new study. I don't know who published it. I saw it somewhere on internet, and they try to feed mouse 80% of their daily ratio. 80%, so just 20% less. The mouse lived twice so long. That's the point. That's enough.
That's enough, right?
That's enough. And this is what we have to learn. And I am really happy that thanks to you and Kevin and many others, which we are connected, the people realize that they are more and more of us, just humans, just humans. But we are 8 billion. And the giants are just few. And there is one thing with the giants, you know that we use the term in unity and harmony, the wasteless world is being built. And this is what the giants cannot do. Giant will fight all the time the second giant because they never unite. They look like united, let's call it nations, but they do not unite. If there is the possibility to get the other nations' property and land, they will do it. Like Russia right now is trying, or others. So this is the difference to human approach, because we can and we will, because no one would like to live on a global landfill. And if you have seen, currently more and more AI generated images show a landfill and behind is a rising sun, and this is exactly the image of global landfill. And already AI or Midjourney or how they are called, I don't know, these AI tools, they started to generate, and I saw it in last days 5 times on different articles and so on, which I discover and read and reply to and so on. So more and more frequently.
One of the things that struck me when you were saying that is the giants. Are any of the giants, have you ever seen a giant who is happy?
Um,
Truly happy, not happy in having conquered somebody, but happy with, but happy.
I will say the moments of happiness show the parts of the giants. If they get a new award, which they awarded themselves, and they are on the stage, there is this feeling. If they are listed number one, like I think that Jeff Bezos replaced Elon Musk yesterday or whatever. So at that moment, I am sure there is this 1 second of happiness. But the next second is the thought, is that enough? Wouldn't he be the next day again the number one? So
And someday, the three of us are going to have to talk about the word happy, right? Because people, if somebody's receiving an award for being the richest person, or whatever that award is, which they made themselves and which their money promotes and so on, so they can shower themselves um, uh, with good publicity and so on. Um, but what kind of happiness is that? It's a more competitive happiness that I'm the best and I can do more, and watch, I'm gonna I'll see you next year and I'll have even more. It's that more, more, more mentality, um, rather than the enough mentality that some people get from walking on a mountain and breathing the fresh air and knowing that they've helped somebody. Um, that's so those two happinesses are really different. I, I, I would love to have a conversation about happy, because I think there's many different types of happy.
We will have it, that's I promise. But the next one will be the term enough.
What does enough mean? Um, well, good. I'll look forward to it.
I can tell you, for the first time in a history of Wasteless World Talks, I know what will be next week and the week after already, because it came to me with much more urgency and frequency right now. So I prepare it and already prepared on my calendar generally. So I will not tell you when happiness or when enough will come, but I know they will come. And today in the morning, I have a discussion with one of the ladies who is taking the care of the house generally here. And she reads every day my Czech blog and she does not speak any English. And she said a fascinating sentence after she read today's article. She said, Mr. Rada, every wheel has its place. It was so strong for me. We use the term wheel for even for the small wheels in a watch or so. So we use the term wheel, or we use a we small wheel, but we use generally it's you cannot translate this term. This is the specialty of Czech language. So we can make from big wheel a small wheel by adding few letters. Kolo is wheel, kolečko is a small wheel. So, and she said, every wheel has its place. And that's so strong, really, that I will have an article on this because she was right. She's a simple woman. She advised us with the tea. She knows a lot about nature. She do the work which generally just all people do, or so, or people who are somehow not mobile, and she knows it. And I think we have it inside. You are the wheel. I am the wheel. We are the wheels. But the wheels, if you shift the wheel, the speed can differ, the direction can differ. So it's just about the placement of the wheel. And that's interesting because if you take it from the mechanical point of view, it can make a big change if the wheel is on this place or on the next one, whether the big one is at the beginning or the small one is at the beginning. We see it on the bike every time when we switch the gears. And that was so great. So
That I would like to meet that woman, although we couldn't talk except maybe by sign language. Um, yeah, several different thoughts are taking me in different directions, but it's something about being simple, something about being one with nature, loving nature, trying to learn from nature, the simplicity that when we get into society, and society tries to make us more complicated. You have to have a degree, you have to speak with big words, you have to, and so on, which does nothing but takes us away from nature. And it puts heavy coats and heavy blankets on top of us, and it smothers us, trying to be something that we're not. We are creatures of nature. We find happiness by helping others. Simple. We don't look for awards. This man is closest to nature this year, and next year someone else will be closest to nature. No, that doesn't exist. And one of the things that you, at the very beginning of what you just said is the words. What's the word is next week, and the words that we choose are so simple. The words are so simple. Uh, waste is everybody out there assumes they know what it means. But once we spend 45 minutes here, the three of us talking about that, we realize I had no idea what that word, rock, or whatever the word that we're talking about, I had no idea. And yet I use the word all the time without knowing more than about an inch deep into the meaning of that. Waste is the same way. Happy is the same way. We think we know what it means, and we're just babies. We're just babies in understanding.
And I love to be babies. And you too, we are children inside. And Anuja, this was the second person in the talk in the noontime. She said something very interesting. All of what she said was interesting, but one sentence struck me. She said the society is creating the borders. And this is exactly how the silos are being created. We put people in a state and we say this is a state. So we created a silo. We employ them in a company and this is the next silo. It's we spend, and she connected with the wasting of time. She said, if I do remember properly, we are wasting our time by setting up the borders. That's exactly well announced and sounded, and that's really great. So, and Industry 5.0 prevent this waste happen. So is any others. And she does not know anything about Industry 5.0. At the beginning, she said it was coincidence that she joined the meeting. But at the end, I explained that there is no coincidence at all. So it should be this way. And she was there, and we are connected already, and there will be a lot of changes right now. So, but it will come.
And people I am meeting more and more people like that. Um, People who are honest and open to different ideas rather than people who believe they know everything, right? What is that quote? Um, I would rather I would rather oh, I'll think of it. People who are so sure of themselves they don't need to ask questions, or as compared to people who are um, asking questions because they don't know, and they know that they don't know, and they don't try to show and always um, prove that they know. That's where you get into trouble, is when you try to prove that you are right or that you know, and somebody else is trying to prove that you don't know. And and why do we do that? Does nature do that? Nature doesn't try to prove that it's stronger than we are or that it knows more than we do. Nature lives with all the different parts of nature, and that's my journey in life, is to try to understand nature better.
Do you know what will be interesting to learn? You said that in the last years, you meet more and more people who are, as you described, like us. Do you think it is because of our age, or because of our aim, or because of COVID? Or what do you think it is because of
All those things you just said.
together?
I think that I have more time now that my children are grown and being productive members of society. I have more time. I have more time to ask these questions. Um, it's also because I think the times are changing. I think that people the polarization that has happened or is in the process of happening or whatever is uh, uh, is helps the other side. So we see people hating and killing, and that makes us um, more human, more nature-like. So I think there's many, uh, but if you take the whole world and you take an average, I think I think that we are shifting more to an enough society and more away from a more society. And the motivations of people in the more society um, are being recognized and understood. There's an awareness going on that I can't change the world. I can't send a rocket ship into space, but I can help somebody else. When I came to a realization not too long ago as I walk on the beach, and if somebody's coming toward me, also walking on the beach, and their face is like this, and they're deep in thought, and I used to think to myself, oh, they don't want to talk. Oh, they don't want to. Oh, they don't want to. Oh, they have this wall around them. And then one day I said, well, let me just say something. And I said, good morning. And this face turned into this face. And I've made more friends on the beach. Uh, don't even know most of their names, but we see each other from day to day, and we know a little bit about them, and we get the smile. And I suspect that if we sat down and talked politics, some of them would be over at this end, some of them would be over at this end, some of them would be more people, some of them would be enough people. But on the beach, you just see the smile. And so wouldn't it be nice if everybody in Russia and Ukraine would see the smile? And let's get beyond this crap that we're in the middle of. And same with Israel and the Palestinians.
You know what is fascinating? I have this discussion twice a day on Wednesday. And 4 hours ago, we reached a smile as well. We touch it. We realize that the government and the news, using the news and all these, try to wipe up, make a smile into a waste. Because not happy people are the people who will behave better according to the law and legislation and government and whatever. No, the people in fear are easy to be manipulated. And that's exactly the point, Bill. And we 4 hours later, without anything I connected, except of the information in my head, you reach it, and it was Australia, India, Czech Republic, and you came from the US. There is no difference. This is what make this talk so powerful. Because every single word go not from here, it go from the heart. And it will be understand because the other person's heart is exactly the same like ours. It does not have a color or whatever, or different color if you are black or yellow or whatever. No. And a madman like me or lunatic like me and a futurist like you, and what? The heart is the same. And I have a yesterday very interesting discussion in the talks about nothing. I have a man who write a book. It's a Czech man who is a as well translator and so on. He wrote a book, and he is interested in astrology. And he spent a lot of time in discussing things and so on. He has even a US Czech podcast as well exist and so on. And he said a very interesting thing when we discuss about artificial intelligence. He said, you know what, Michael, is strange? The artificial intelligence cannot count. It's not good in math. This is why it is not good in astrology. Because in astrology, you need to calculate a lot of things, the planets and locations and so on and so on. And he said, we have realized that it is not good in astrology, which I not in astrology, in the math, in mathematics. And I was surprised because I'm not good in mathematics as well. So I was surprised about it. And he said, generally, they did not put the right core in the AI, because it's just analyzing things which are existing, but it's not the way how human brain works. So it was very interesting part of the discussion. I'm sorry that it's in Czech, but we will hold one on the next Friday or Saturday, I'm not sure. It will be the US podcast. And I think we will touch this topic as well. There will be a US host as well. And I hope we will touch this topic. But it was new information for me. But very interesting, very interesting.
So we've at first I said, okay, I just thought in my mind, okay, we're getting away from the topic of waste, but we're not. We're not getting away from the topic of waste because when we act like more, we're wasting so much around us. When we when the media, someone said to me, fear sells. And then they said there's only two reasons anybody ever buys anything. Only two reasons: fear and greed. And just the waste in those two sentences is scary. I feel fear because that is a part of human that the only reason people do things is fear and greed. Even on Wall Street, there's a meter with a needle, and it's what is motivating the markets today: fear or greed, and that meter with the needle doesn't say anything about to improve the planet. That's not on the meter. To improve the planet, to help somebody else, to it's fear and greed. That's all. And I can't really buy that. Because I only know myself, but I do things to help people. Can I help you? Can I help you lift that to my grandchildren? Can I help you understand this? Um, you know, and so I do things for other than fear or greed. Um, but they didn't say why. That's not a meter of why people do something. It's a meter of what moves the markets, and
This
that
is,
makes me distasteful of the markets.
I will say that this is the giant's thermometer,
Yes,
because
yes.
they put this thermometer in their ass to measure the temperature. And I was just listening to one US comedian, the stand up comedian, and he said, I read on one medical device, I read the most horrible description, which lead me to the most horrible job in the world. And he said, I get this anal thermometer for children, and there was written, each piece is personally tested. That was great, great. And he said he just go on how the person must feel and so on. Sit down. No, thank you. That was
Who, who, yeah, do we have one tester or do we have a whole department of testers?
not sure, not sure.
Is it te is it tested one time or multiple times?
But it was really, I am listening frequently right now to US stand-up comedians, or international generally, but English speaking, because they are very different from the Czech, let's say, the way of making fun. And some of them are really, really great. Some of them I do not understand properly, partly because of the not language itself, but this special accent. And some jokes I of course do not understand, but because jokes should be international, then of course you should understand the language. And this one, that was, I have to laugh for a long time. So it was really great. And just to tell you, 3 minutes 20 to the end.
Now, after having talked all this time, are we any deeper in our understanding of waste?
No. That's the answer of Bulgarians. No. I used it frequently in school. No.
No. And I would agree with the no, and also with the yes. I would agree with the no because it's just so deep. It's just such a deep subject, um, waste. So in 100 years, maybe we'll say, and the subject for discussion today will be waste. What comes to your mind? And they'll say, nothing. I have no, I have no picture of waste in my mind. And then they'll say, well, then you can thank Michael Rada.
You would like to make me cry. And thank you for that, because this image is powerful. And I hope it will be like so, because, you know, I see the wasteless work being grown for 11 years. And I'm so happy because you see it for 2 years when you join me and you remember the very first discussions. Already at the very beginning, I said what I'm doing, but at the time it was a discussion more about technology, future views, and so on. And it's so nicely developed. Then Kevin joined us, and we are looking forward every single of this episode with fascination, because we know no matter which word will come, we know it. We will discover that we does not know anything about it, and we with this 40 minutes we are one step closer, and the next time we will be the next step closer, and these steps are the steps towards the wasteless world. And this is why I'm so happy that we are friends.
Thank you. I am happy that we are friends, but I'm not sure what happy is. So, and everybody who is listening to this, re go and have a conversation, any conversation about waste with somebody else. That's how the future will get here, on the backs of language. The more we talk, the more it will be understood.
Exactly. And I would like to thank everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Have a nice time, free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe, free, be human, and as Bill says, don't worry to talk, because this is the language on which the wasteless world will come. Thanks a lot and have a nice time. Bye bye.